Okay, this video is about 4 transformations of shapes that you need to know. We'll do them in the order of their ease. Easiest is probably translation. Then we'll do reflection. Then we'll do rotation. And then finally we'll do enlargement. It's a crucial part of knowing these that you have to know how to do them backwards. So in other words, you need to be able to see the result of one of these transformations and to be able to say what the question was, what the instruction was that caused the transformation. And okay, so let's get cracking. But before I start on the first, I'm going to say that for 3 of these 4, I strongly recommend that you do not try to transform the shape. Instead, you try to transform the points of the shape, and once you transform them, connect the new points. So let's say you had to translate this. Well, the way we tell you to translate an object, which basically just means to move it to a different place on the page, is to give you a coded instruction. That coded instruction is with this bracket situation. The top number is the left or right instruction, so that means move it 3 to the left. And the bottom number is the up or down instruction, so that means move it up by 1. So I'm not going to do that to the whole shape. Instead, I'm going to do it to these 4 fat dots. And I'm going to make them into crosses. So this means go 3 to the left and 1 up. 1, 2, 3, 1. So that fat dot has become that cross. 1, 2, 3 up. So that fat dot has become that cross. 1, 2, 3 up. 1, 2, 3 up. And now connect the 2 ones, doing your best to mimic the original shape. So that's called the original, and that's called the image. So that is a translation. Pretty straightforward to do them backwards. Just try and work out what became what. So if that became this, that's the original and that's the image, then what would the question have been? Well, that fat dot has become that cross, so it's moved 3 to the right, and it hasn't moved up at all, so that would be your translation instruction that would lead to that situation. Okay, so that's the easiest one, that's translations. Now we'll do reflections. Okay, for a reflection question to be fair, we need to give you a line to reflect something across. You got to be good with your graphing, and so that you can create your own line if you're given it in equation form or in algebra form. So let's say this was the line, and your job was to reflect this shape across it. Now you've got to do this carefully. You can't just think, oh, I'm going to put that over there, right? It looks kind of logical, but it's not right at all. It's often a good idea to turn it so that the line is pointing up and down. And as I said, don't try and move the whole shape, instead move the points. So this point is going to go straight to the line, then straight to the other side. My diagram's a bit imprecise, sorry. This fat dot is going to go straight to the line, then straight to the other side. However much distance it took to get to the line is the same distance it needs to go on the other side, and it needs to get to the line at a right angle. So this is 1.5 diagonal squares, so go another diagonal, 1.5 diagonal squares. And then after you've done 3 or a fair few, you can usually guess what the last one's going to be. So that's the original and that's the image. Now, if you're given a backwards question like that to do, so for example, if this became this, your job is just to say what the line must have been. Well, see if you can view it in a way which makes it a mirror image. Sorry. So think that became this. So just connect those and use your compass and strategy to do a perpendicular bisector, which I'm going to do lazily here because I've got grid squares. So that must have been the line. So the method for doing a backwards question is just to remember all you have to do is state the line, connect any point to what you're confident is its mirror image on the other side, and then do the perpendicular of that join. So that's a reflection both forwards and backwards. Now, rotation. This is the only one where you get to do the whole shape in one go, and in fact this is actually also pretty easy, especially if you use tracing paper. Just trying to find some scissors there. Okay, so you get given some point, you get given a shape, and you get told to rotate it, say, 90 degrees anti-clockwise. Now, what you do is you just lay the tracing paper down, you put a little mark on the point. That just helps keep track of how much you've turned it. You draw the whole shape, and then you dig in at the point and you turn it by whatever you're supposed to. I was supposed to rotate it 90 degrees anti-clockwise. That's this way. So that little stroke is pointing up. Now it's pointing over to the left, so it's turned 90. Now just lift up the paper